Hello, my name is Taylor Reedus, and I'm a graduate student at the University of Central Arkansas. Today, will be presenting a video on how to create street tacos along with 3 of my favorite sides. First, we'll take a look at the ingredients. Making street tacos, you can choose either protein, whether it be chicken, steak, or shrimp. Today we're going to use some steak that I actually found on sale at Kroger. Actually due to the expiration date, with it being going back within the next 24 to 48 hours. So we're going to go ahead and get that on clearance today. Go ahead and use that for our street tacos. We've got some corn tortillas. You can get corn or flour, either or is personal preference. We've got some black beans. We've got our vegetables, the tomatoes, avocado, lime, cilantro, and onions. And then, of course, we've got the side of rice along with the corn and the cheese, as well as the Mexican table cream to go along for that street corn. So stick around and we'll dive right in. Let us not forget those vital instruments that we'll definitely be needing today. First, we're going to start off with the baking sheet. We'll use those to just kind of get a nice little heating and crisp on those corn tortillas. Next, we've got our skillet to ground that beef. We've got a knife, spatula in case you need to kind of stir anything, mix anything together. We've got our cutting board, and then one little pan back there, saucepan for those beans. So first up, we're just going to go ahead and prepare the beef. It's already seasoned, so we pretty much got that covered. Just going to go ahead and cut it into some smaller chunks, make it a little easier for frying and cut down on some time there. And of course, before we move on, we most definitely want to make sure we wash our hands with warm soapy water, get underneath those fingernails, make sure we get in there good, especially after touching that beef and that raw meat. So while the pan's heating, we'll go ahead just kind of season those beans a little bit. We're going to use a little taco seasoning. We're going to go back and add a little chili powder. Make sure that lid's open. Also add just a little garlic salt. Just add a little salt there. That chili powder, garlic salt, and just a little taco seasoning should definitely blend well and give it a nice flavor. Now that we've got the beans on about medium high, we'll go ahead and start putting in that beef, evenly distributing it, making sure that it's separated and has enough room to fry evenly and just get a good nice brown on each side. And there we go. We're just going to check it one time. Looks really good. We'll go ahead and flip it over. I like my beef pretty much well done. Maybe a little pink there on the inside. Again, that's a personal preference once again. So here we're going to go ahead and flip it and make sure it gets nice and brown, as you can see there, and that flavor is outstanding. Next, we're going to prep our tortillas for the oven. We don't want them to go in too long, just long enough to get a nice little tan and a little warm. And for that reason, we're going to set the oven at about 250, maybe 200, no higher than 250 for about 4 to 5 minutes. While that's in the oven, we'll check on our beef. We'll go ahead and turn that off, give it a stir, and then just kind of let that rest. We'll also check on the beans, just kind of cut those to low, give those a stir, let those simmer, soak in some of that seasoning. So we're almost about halfway there. We've got our meat pretty much done. Our beans are seasoning, soaking in that seasoning, so we're getting there. And just that fast, our tortillas are done. I almost let them stay in a few minutes too long, but they're pretty good. Just have to cool off and we're good to go. Next, we'll go ahead and start on our rice. Now, this rice here is actually microwavable rice, so it's pretty simple. You'll see me reading the directions there. I've made this rice here a few times, but I'm just reading the directions to make sure everything's still the same. We'll go ahead and make sure that that top is clear. We'll open the bag for about an inch wide, and we'll microwave that for about 90 seconds. That's all it takes. Once that 90 seconds up, we'll go ahead and check that rice. Smells delicious, piping hot, and it looks amazing. One of my favorites. Next, we'll actually go ahead and wash our hands again. No, we hadn't really touched anything, but just to cut down on the germs, bacteria, we've kind of touched the meat, touched a couple packages. We'll go ahead and wash our hands before we get ready for the corn. Next, we'll go ahead and start making our street corn. This corn is actually microwavable. Once again, it's a steam fresh corn. This corn is actually a little healthier than the canned corn. It kind of cuts back on the sodium. And the microwavable and steam fresh bags are just so much easier to use. There I go reading those directions again just to make sure everything's still the same and that I make sure that everything's correct. We'll go ahead and place that in there for, I believe, about 4 minutes. And once that's ready, we'll go ahead and open that. As you can see, I did have a tough time. So I had a knife there on standby. Used that knife just to cut open that top. Poured the corn into a clean bowl, and we'll set that to the side and get ready to go ahead and start prepping those toppings. So what I've done next, I went ahead and separated me my portion into my own bowl. I've got my cheese and my table cream ready. We'll add a few seasonings. Got some chili powder and a little lime. This cheese here is actually queso fresno. It's one of my favorites. It's actually crumbled cheese. Just kind of cut a piece there off the block, and it actually crumbles really easily. And I actually forgot to add the table cream first. So you can see me kind of having an uh-oh moment here and adding a little cream there in the middle. But good thing is, I actually like a little extra cheese, so no biggie. I add a little bit of cheese to the street tacos there on the side as well. We'll go ahead and wipe up that little mess. Crumbled cheese kind of crumbles everywhere. Add a little bit of that chili powder there. Get it nice and covered. Go back with a little bit more table cream and a little bit more cheese. Add one more layer of chili powder and the lime juice. And we are good to go. Next, we'll go ahead and start prepping our vegetables here. No, you can't really see me. As you can see, though, I'm busy chopping away. Chop, chop, chop. So let's see here. Everything looks good. We got our lime, our discard pal there. We got our tomatoes, our pre-chopped cilantro and onions. We've got our avocado. Everything's pretty much set up, pretty much organized, clean. We're good to go. So now we'll go ahead and start prepping our plate. We've got everything pretty much done. We'll start off with prepping the black beans there. We'll go ahead and plate the next side, following along with the Spanish red rice. I'm trying to cut back and actually do just a little better. So I'm going to do just 2 tacos here. Put myself on a limit. Of course, I know everything's going to taste good, but as you can see, I kind of knew I was doing this video, so I wanted to make sure everything looked good as well as taste good. I knew you guys wouldn't be able to taste it, so I at least wanted it to look good for you. Sorry about that, but it turned out amazing, must I say. Go ahead and add a little more beans there. We've got the cilantro and the onions on the tacos. I hadn't placed any cheese or sour cream yet. We're still adding the veggies there. Go ahead and add a few tomatoes. Add those avocados. I love vegetables. Really not a big meat fan. I was surprised that I actually went ahead, but catching that meat on sale, especially that type of meat that it was already pre-seasoned, you definitely couldn't go wrong. So I figured, why not? Wanted to be sure to go ahead and cover everything. Even though I had already fixed my plate, I wanted to make sure everyone else had a chance to fix theirs within the next few minutes before we put everything in the refrigerator. So we've got our plate fixed. We'll go ahead and kind of straighten up, clean up, make sure that everything's wiped down. And I believe we're almost at the end, guys. We've had a successful taco night. Street tacos. We've got some lovely street tacos. Black beans, rice, Mexican corn. It's amazing. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye-bye.